Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry apologizes to opposition members after derogatory remarks. Chaudhry says PPP and PMLN leaders recruited their favorites in Pakistan Steel Mills, Pakistan International Airlines and Radio Pakistan. Opposition members protest against Chaudhry's remarks and stage walk. Pakistan People's Party Chairman Bilawal Bhutto says his party leaders imprisoned during Zia and Musharraf's tenures and he's ready to go to prison during Prime Minister Imran Khan's term. Bilawal says this is a selected government with a selected Prime Minister and selected ministers. Bhutto's sign says budget only benefits non-filers and Prime Minister Imran Khan's ATMs. Supreme Court upholds Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leader Jahangir Tareen's disqualification. Chief Justice Saqib Nisar remarks court to not hear case again. Chief Justice Saqib Nisar says money from abroad be brought back to Pakistan. British Prime Minister Theresa May challenges US President Donald Trump with defense of multilateralism. May also calls on world leaders in New York to reject nationalism and fight to preserve multilateral system. United Kingdom Prime Minister May says post-Brexit immigration system will attract brightest to UK. May says her government is ready for a no-deal outcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You're watching 92 News HD UK. My name is Muhammad Yasir Rizwan.
And my name is Faik Mahmood. Starting off with the top story today, Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry was forced to apologize on Thursday after opposition members in the National Assembly staged a walkout over his derogatory remarks.
The minister accused PPP and PMLN leaders of recruiting their favorites in Pakistan Steel Mill, Pakistan International Airlines and Radio Pakistan and harming the national interest. More in this report.
ये हजब करते हैं, शर्म नहीं आती, हजब करते हैं। पीआईए तबाह कर दी, स्टील मिल तबाह कर दी, रेडियो पाकिस्तान तबाह कर दिया, पाकिस्तान टेलीविजन तबाह कर दिया और अब कहते हैं हमसे ये बात भी न कहो। डाकू को डाकू ना कहे तो क्या कहे?
Pakistan People's Party leader Khurshid Shah moved a privilege motion over allegations leveled against him by Chaudhry in the early morning tweet.
ये 800 नौकरियां किसी गरीब को मिली हैं और टैलेंट लोग भी हैं, डिजर्व भी करते हैं। तो आपकी हुकूमत ने तो अभी वायदा किया है 1 करोड़ जॉब देंगे। ये कमिटमेंट है आपकी कौम के साथ। अभी आपने निकालना शुरू कर दिए। क्या ये सब निकाल के फिर किसी को जॉब देंगे?
The Information Minister said Khurshid Shah had appointed countless people in the PIA. He said PMLN leader Mushahidullah Khan had given top post in the national flag courier to his brother and a cousin.
जिस तरीके से पाकिस्तान के लोगों का खजाने को लूटा गया, अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब सर मेरी बात माने तो इनको उल्टा लटकाना चाहिए लोगों को ताकि पाकिस्तान के खजाने से पैसा वापस आए.
The minister accused People's Party and PMLN leaders of recruiting their favorites in Pakistan Steel Mill, Pakistan International Airlines and Radio Pakistan and harming national interests.
PIA तबाह कर दी, स्टील मिल तबाह कर दी, रेडियो पाकिस्तान तबाह कर दिया, पाकिस्तान टेलीविजन तबाह कर दिया और अब कहते हैं हमसे ये बात भी ना कहो.
The opposition parties demanded an apology from the minister and walked out.
मैं समझता हूं कि अभी भी मौका है, आप उनसे कहें कि वो हाउस से माजत कर लें और मामला आगे चले, वगरना मजबूरन पर हमें एहतजाजन वॉकआउट करना पड़ेगा.
Petroleum Minister Ghulam Sarwar and the Minister of State of Parliamentary Affairs then approached the opposition members and convinced them to return to the house. When the session resumed, Chaudhry took the floor and apologized.
Bilawal Bhutto, the Pakistan People's Party chairman, said on Thursday People's Party leaders had been imprisoned during martial law regimes of Ziaul Haq and Pervez Musharraf. He said they were ready to be imprisoned during Prime Minister Imran Khan's term.
दिल्ली वाले जिन्होंने अकाउंटेबिलिटी करना था, अकाउंटेबिलिटी के सिलसिले से भाग रहे हैं। फायदा हुआ है तो अमीरों को फायदा हुआ है, अगर फायदा हुआ है तो ब्लैक मार्केट को फायदा हुआ है।
Bilawal also criticized the revised finance bill proposed by the PTI government, saying it was hard on the poor. He said the PTI had ignored the manifesto and proposed measures that would benefit only tax non-filers and Prime Minister's supporters. The Pakistan People's Party leader also regretted that gas and electricity prices has been raised.
फायदा हुआ है तो अमीरों को फायदा हुआ है, अगर फायदा हुआ है तो ब्लैक मार्केट को फायदा हुआ है, अगर फायदा हुआ है तो नॉन टैक्स फाइलर्स को फायदा हुआ है, अगर फायदा हुआ है तो खान साहब के ATMs को फायदा किया गया है।
He said Finance Minister Asad Umar has disappointed people by proposing relief on non-filers. He said the measures proposed by the government will increase unemployment.
अफसोस के साथ कहना पड़ता है कि लग रहा है कि तब्दीली वाले जिन्होंने इंसाफ ले आना था, जिन्होंने अकाउंटेबिलिटी करना था, वो इस अकाउंटेबिलिटी के सिलसिले से भाग रहे हैं।
Bilawal said the mini budget was a mini drama. He said government leaders should worry about accountability.
The Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed a review petition against its verdict disqualifying Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leader Jahangir Tareen for public office. The court also refused to form a full bench to hear a review petition filed by Hanif Abbasi against the Supreme Court decision to dismiss his petition seeking disqualification of Imran Khan.
The court struck down the review petition filed by the PTI leader Jahangir Tareen Khan Tareen against his disqualification. In December 2017, Tareen was disqualified under Article 62(1)(f) of the Constitution for misdeclaration of assets. As the hearing got underway, Justice Mia Saqib Nisar remarked that the court would not hear the case afresh. He said the court had given Tareen ample opportunity to file documents in support of his contentions. Addressing Tareen's lawyer Sikandar Bashir Mohammed, the Chief Justice remarked that political leaders should be transferring assets from abroad to Pakistan and not the other way. The Chief Justice said he had learned that Tareen had purchased shares in company abroad. The court admonished the counsel for raising his voice. Mohammed apologized and said it was a habit with him. The court refused to form a full bench to hear a review petition filed by Hanif Abbasi against the Supreme Court's decision to dismiss the disqualification case against Imran Khan.
Pakistan Awami Tehreek Chief Dr. Tahir Al-Qadri said on Wednesday the Lahore High Court verdict pertaining to Model Town violence case prosecution would be challenged in the Supreme Court.
Qadri said justice could not be served without summoning the masterminds of Model Town massacre of 2014.
पुलिस को जो मैंडेट किसी ने दिया था या नहीं दिया था, सिर्फ ये डिटरमिन करने के लिए हाई कोर्ट गए थे। हमने कहा था कि ये सारा कुछ पुलिस ने अपने इमा पे नहीं किया, इनके पीछे कोई है। वो पर्दे के पीछे कौन है उसका जायजा लिया जाए, उसको तलब किया जाए उन 12 अफराद को, और हमें मौका दिया जाए कि हम उस पर जरा करें।
Recalling the June 17, 2014 violence, he said it was as if those killed were less than human.
115 वो पुलिस अफसरान या 116 जो बराह रास्त इस कत्ल आम में मुलव्वस हैं और कत्ल कर रहे हैं, और 12 वो सियासी अफराद और उनके साथ उनके ब्यूरोक्रेट्स जो इस कत्ल की मनसूबाबंदी में हमारे ख्याल में और हमारे पास मालूम शहादतों में और हमारे अपने मालूमात के मुताबिक वो इसके मंसूबा साज हैं, मौजूद हैं।
Lahore High Court has turned down Pakistan Awami Tehreek's plea for former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, former Punjab Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif and 10 other ministers off trial.
General Qamar Javed Bajwa said on Thursday terrorism had been contained and would not be allowed to resurface.
The Army Chief was delivering the keynote address on the security of Pakistan at a 3-day international conference at Air University in Islamabad on radicalization, perceptions, realities and challenges of campus life. The ISPR said General Bajwa spoke in detail about security situation in the country and his vision of enduring peace in the region. Highlighting internal and external challenges to national security, the chaos said the full spectrum of threat demanded a comprehensive national response. Armed forces and the nation have sacrificed a lot to bring back stability across the country. Terrorism has been effectively contained with the nation's support, but we need to remain vigilant and follow the correct courses to move from survival to revival, the Army Chief said.
Parents of 10-year-old who lost her life in police firing disputed a private hospital's claim that the fatally wounded child was not refused to treatment. The Supreme Court of Pakistan constituted a committee to investigate the matter and report back in 2 weeks. The Chief Justice of Pakistan said negligence on the part of hospital administration will also be investigated. The Supreme Court formed a constitute headed by Justice Khilji Arif Hussain to investigate the murder. The committee will include the former Sindh Police Inspector General A.D. Khaja, a senior doctor and a member of District Bar. A representative of the National Medical Center and parents of the deceased were present in the court. A 3-member bench of the Apex Court headed by Chief Justice is hearing the case. Lawyers submitted draft term of reference for the investigation committee. They also recommended amendments in the law to allow provision of first aid before fulfillment of reporting requirements under law.
हमें लगा कि जैसे पुलिस ने अपनी गलती एक्सेप्ट भी की, इन्वेस्टिगेशन भी खोली, अपोलोजाइज भी किया और वो रिफॉर्म्स भी चाहते हैं. हॉस्पिटल अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऐसा एटीट्यूड के साथ नहीं आ रहा.
1.5 महीने बाद उन्होंने आके अपना आज स्टेटमेंट दी है जिसमें वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं.
A representative of the National Medical Center informed the court that the hospital was treating the child, but her parents wanted to shift her to another medical facility. The parents maintained, however, that the hospital had refused to treat the child. Calling the statement a pack of lies, the father said the hospital administration had insisted that the child be shifted to another medical facility. He said it had also refused to lend a respirator and allow its staff to accompany the wounded child. The Chief Justice reprimanded the NMC representative, saying he should not lie to the court. The court then ordered a committee headed by Justice Khilji Arif Hussain to investigate the matter, called for a report in 2 weeks.
8 Prime Minister's house buffaloes were sold today for Rs 2,300 to 2,000 in auction. Kulbe Ali, a resident of Jange Saida, paid Rs 385,000 for one of the cattle.
मार्केट वैल्यू शायद लोग कह रहे हैं कि इसकी बायर कम होगी, लेकिन मुझे ये पसंद थी तो इस वजह से मैंने लिया थी.
दरिया तो हाउस की हैं और अच्छी नस्ल की थी, तो हम तो कहते हैं उसकी नस्ल को आगे बढ़ाएं बजाय इसके क्योंकि ये जाके कहीं ज़बह हो जाए.
PTI leader Naimul Haq had mentioned the buffaloes in his tweet a couple of weeks ago. On September 17, more than 70 of the 102 luxury vehicles of the Prime Minister's house were sold in the first phase of auction. Bulletproof cars will be sold in the next phase. Mohammad Waqar Ahmed Ranjha's video has been ranked as the topmost liked video worldwide under the NATO HQ Public Diplomacy Division's contest for people under 35 titled Without NATO What? Through this competition, youth from across the world submitted their artworks related to the theme. Being the winner, he was invited to participate at the NATO Brussels Summit 2018 side event NATO Engages, which took place at the NATO headquarters in Brussels on the 11th and 12th July 2018, where his video was screened.
मुझे भी मालूम नहीं था कि NATO क्या है, मुझे मालूम नहीं था कि इसका मतलब एक मिलिट्री अलायंस है और एक पॉलिटिकल और इकोनॉमिक अलायंस भी है। तो लिहाजा हम लोगों को खोज लगाना है, हम लोगों को सच को जानना है। पाकिस्तानी यूथ को पैगाम देना चाहूँगा कि बाज़-औक़ात हम लोग चीज़ों को बहुत फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लेते हैं। हम कहते हैं कि हमें करने को ही नहीं दे रहा, बट दैट्स नॉट ट्रू। एक्चुअली हम वो चीज़ खुद करना ही नहीं चाहते हैं। देयर इज़ अ विल, देयर इज़ अ वे। आपको अपना रास्ता खुद बनाना है, आपको खुद आगे जाना है।
Several head of states and government, military leaders, senior officials were gathered at this summit. His video has been ranked as the top and probably he is the first Pakistani Canadian who is receiving this honor. He works as public diplomacy officer at Canada's NATO. Upon reaching Canada, his achievement has been recognized by many people, including Canadian Senator Salma Ataullah Jan and President Canada-Pakistan Business Council Samir Dosal.
More news stories lined up right after a short break.
Stay with us. British Prime Minister Theresa May on Wednesday called on world leaders in New York to reject nationalism and to preserve the multilateral system, changing US President Donald Trump's anti-globalism stance.
May used her address at the United Nations General Assembly, chaired by Trump, to warn that aggressive nationalism could replace the rules-based international order unless leaders revive public confidence in the current system.
In the last century, whether in the rise of fascism or the spread of communism, we have seen those on the extreme right and extreme left exploit people's fears, stoke intolerance and racism, close down economies and societies, and destroy the peace of nations. And today, once more, we see worrying trends in the rise of these movements in Europe and beyond. We have seen what happens when countries slide into authoritarianism, slowly crushing the basic freedoms and rights of their citizens. We have seen what happens when corrupt oligarchies rob their nations of the wealth, resources, and human capital that are so vital to unlocking a brighter future for their citizens. We have seen what happens when the natural patriotism, which is a cornerstone of a healthy society, is warped into aggressive nationalism.
We have seen what happens when the natural patriotism, which is a cornerstone of a healthy society, is wrapped into aggressive nationalism, exploiting fear and uncertainty to promote identity politics at home and belligerent confrontation abroad, while breaking rules and undermining institutions.
And just as there is no single recipe for an inclusive society, so there is no single model for balancing the democratic demands of our public with the imperative to cooperate internationally. The vote by the British people to leave the European Union was not a rejection of multilateralism or international cooperation. It was a clear demand for decisions and accountability to lie closer to home. I believe the role of leadership in these circumstances is clear. It is delivering on the democratic wishes of our people and international cooperation, working with allies and partners in pursuit of our shared values.
On Tuesday, Trump used his annual address to the United Nations to lay down a defiant message that he will reject globalism and protect American interests. May's officials said the speech was not aimed at Trump and had been largely written before she had seen his remarks. The two were due to hold bilateral talks before May flies back to London.
Prime Minister Theresa May said on Wednesday, post-Brexit Britain would allow business to attract the biggest talents and be one of the best places to grow and develop business, whatever the outcome of negotiations with the European Union would be. More in this report.
We will put in place a new immigration system that will allow businesses and universities to attract the brightest and best to the UK, May told business leaders in New York.
Whatever your business, investing in a post-Brexit Britain will give you the lowest rate of corporation tax in the G20. You will access service industries and a financial centre in London that are the envy of the world, some of the best universities in the world, strong institutions, a sound approach to public finance, and a consistent and dependable approach to high standards but intelligent regulation. And yes, locating in the UK, you will also be able to access the talent you need Freedom of movement will end when we leave the European Union, but we will put in place a new immigration system that will allow businesses and universities to attract the brightest and best to the UK.
May repeated her message that she was confident Britain would be able to strike a good post-Brexit trading agreement with the EU, but said her government was ready for a no-deal outcome. Some of the key elements of the UK that make it a great place to invest and do business aren't going to change post-Brexit, said the Premier. She added that there is that uncertainty about what the future will hold in terms of Brexit. I think from the way I look at it in government, it's first of all, if I can say this again, I believe that we will and can get a deal and a good deal. And that's because it's not actually just about the UK, it's about what's good for the EU as well, May added.
Vice-Chancellors of 40 universities in the United Kingdom on Thursday wrote to the Minister for Education demanding a ban on the text boards writing essays for university students. In the letter, the Vice-Chancellor said the existence of such boards endangered the degrees courses. According to some investigations, 1 in 7 students cheats in covenants with these boards every year. The students caught cheating are punished by the universities, but this is not illegal. The Vice-Chancellors have demanded the closure of such boards.
And something about domestic violence. Domestic violence is on the rise among the people of Asian origin in the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, most of the victims are unaware of the remedies available to them. Ghulam Hussain Awan, the 92 News UK Bureau Chief, is with Najma Ali, the eminent solicitor. Let's watch what he says.
Yeah, domestic violence increasing day by day among Asian families in United Kingdom. And we are here with Najma Ali. She's a solicitor and well-known immigration lawyer as well. Let's find out with her what's happening here, why domestic violence is increasing day by day here. Yes, Najma.
Okay, hello. So I work in this. I've been working in this profession for the last 10 years, and I come across people who have come over on a spouse visa who have been subjected to incidents of domestic violence. And when they come to me, they're usually quite frightened, and it's usually the last resort, and they really don't know what their options are. So I think the first thing that I need to reassure your viewers of is the fact that the government has put in place adequate safeguards to protect the interests of people who are in a vulnerable situation. So the first thing that you guys need to be mindful of is the fact that if somebody comes over to the UK on a spouse visa and they are actually subjected to domestic violence, they can apply independently and switch to discretionary leave to remain on the basis of domestic violence. And they don't have to pay a visa application fee, and it is a fast-track way to apply for settlement. Okay, I then think the other thing that your viewers need to understand is that domestic violence is not limited to your husband beating you up. What the Home Office has done is that they've widened the definition of domestic violence to include the behaviour of your in-laws.
A health worker at Blackpool's Victoria's Hospital has been diagnosed with monkeypox. The worker is the third Briton to have been affected. People travelling from Nigeria are believed to have brought the disease to the United Kingdom. The health worker had returned from Nigeria a week ago. The first case of monkeypox had surfaced in Britain a few days back when a Nigerian living in Cromwell had been diagnosed with the disease. Headache, fever and joint pains are among the symptoms of this disease. Doctor says the disease has been transmitted to humans from monkeys. They also say the patients recover from the disease within few weeks.
And now something about the UK poison case. An online investigative website claimed on Thursday that one of the 2 people accused of poisoning a former Russian spy in Salisbury has been a colonel in the Russian army. The website claimed that the man identified as Ruslan Borhov has been awarded Russia's highest military honor in recognition of his services in Ukraine. It said the officer had also been one of the forefront in the war in Chechnya.
Shafiqur Rahman, a London-based Kashmiri leader, hosted a lunch reception on Thursday in the honor of former Azad Kashmir President Sardar Muhammad Yaqub Khan. Kashmiri leaders Afzal Kayani, Zubair Awan, Sajid Khan, Arif Rahman and Rashid Khan were among prominent guests. Let's have a look at this report made by Ghulam Hussain Awan.
Sardar Yaqub has been calling on Kashmiri leaders to coordinate efforts in aid of Kashmiri's freedom struggle. Talking to 92 News UK on the occasion, Sardar Yaqub said Indian Army chief's statements against Pakistan were foolish.
मैं समझता हूं कि इतनी नालायकी की बात हो रही है जो कोई भी तजर्बाकार जनरल ये बात कह नहीं सकता, क्योंकि ये दोनों न्यूक्लियर पावर हैं। पाकिस्तान भी न्यूक्लियर पावर है और हिंदुस्तान भी न्यूक्लियर पावर है, और अल्लाह के करम से पाकिस्तान का न्यूक्लियर पावर जो है वो ज़्यादा मजबूत हाथों में है और क्वालिटी वाइज भी लाख दर्जे अच्छा है।
They are very cause for concern, and especially I would say the rash comments which are being made. देखो Pakistan and as Kashmiris we want peace. Peace is obtained through dialogue.
जो इंडियन आर्मी चीफ ने जो बयान दिया है कि हम जो है जंग लड़ेंगे, हम किसी जंग के हक में नहीं हैं। जब भी कुछ जंगें हुई हैं तो इनोसेंट पीपल का नुकसान हुआ है। वो लोग जो जंगों में शरीक ही नहीं होते, बच्चे हैं, औरतें हैं, तो जिनका तल्लक ही नहीं है। तो पाकिस्तानी कौम ने और कश्मीरियों ने हमेशा मुज़ाकरात के टेबल पर और अच्छे तरीके से बैठ के बात करने की, मुज़ाकरात के ज़रिए ये मामले हल करने की पेशकश की है।
His hosts too said both Pakistan and India were nuclear states and that brinkmanship could lead to unprecedented destruction on both sides. They said Pakistan was a peace-loving nation.
On the other hand, Russia's foreign minister warned on Wednesday that the United States' withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal creates a serious threat for the non-proliferation regime. More in this report.
US President Donald Trump used a session on non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction at the UN Security Council to defend his May 8 decision to abandon the nuclear pact under which Tehran limited its nuclear program in return for the easing of US, European and international economic sanctions. Russia is convinced that we need to keep JCPOA, and this is something that we are actively working on together with Iran, China and the EU, said Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov at the United Nations Security Council. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we can end up with a situation where there is more tension in the Middle East, and this could lead to risks for national instability and for the non-proliferation regime. The dismantlement of JCPOA would also be counterproductive also for the efforts underway now to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula. Trump's closest European allies, France, Britain and Germany, along with China and Russia, are trying to salvage the accord by developing ways to bypass US sanctions so that Iran can still receive oil revenue, giving it an incentive to stay in the agreement. The European powers and the United States have said that a broader deal needs to be struck with Iran that tackles its long-term nuclear activities, ballistic missile program, and to curb its regional influence. They accuse Iran of supporting destabilizing proxies in Lebanon, Syria, Yemen and Iraq.
Japan's biggest warship, the Kaga helicopter carrier, joined naval drills with Britain's HMS Argyll in the Indian Ocean on Wednesday as the frigate headed towards the contested South China Sea and East Asia, extending the Royal Navy's presence in the Indo-Pacific. More in this report.
Britain, Japan and their close ally the United States have found common cause in countering growing Chinese influence in the region that they worry could put key commercial sea lanes linking Asia, Europe, the US and elsewhere under Beijing's sway. This time we held joint goodwill drills with Curacao and Indonesian Navy patrol boat. This sort of safety drill was held with the goal of building cooperation and interoperability with the Indonesian Navy, said Tachiko Mizono, an operation planning officer for the Kaga. The Argyll, Kaga and its destroyer escort the Inazuma practiced formations on calm seas in the Indian Ocean near commercial sea lanes piled by container vessels and oil tankers. 3 helicopters from the Japanese carrier hovered above, monitoring the drill. The Kaga held its own live fire exercises on Tuesday, where crew members fired off some of the ship's heavy-duty machine guns. The Argyll's arrival comes after Britain's amphibious assault ship Albion last month challenged Beijing's territorial claims on its way to Vietnam from Japan by sailing close to Chinese bases in the Paracel Islands in a freedom of navigation operation.
Now talking about the Kashmir situation in occupied Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh acts of state terrorism martyred 4 more Kashmiri youth in Srinagar, Badgam and Islamabad districts on Thursday. The Hurriyat leadership called for strike across the occupied valley on Friday.
Indian atrocities in Hell Kashmir are rising day by day. The oppressive forces often martyr the civilians in acts of state terrorism. Indian forces started search operation in Srinagar, Anantnag and Badgam. Mobile phone services and internet services were suspended on this occasion. A youth identified as Muhammad Salim Malik was martyred when the troops resorted to unprovoked firing on his house in Nurbagh area of Srinagar. Thousands of people defying curfew-like restrictions participated in the funeral prayers of the martyr. Indian forces started firing and tear gas shelling when procession was taking the body for burial. The troops killed 2 youth at Panzan in Badgam and 1 in Doru area of Islamabad during cordon and search operations. Kashmir Media Service reported that these killings raised the numbers of martyred youth to 18 since the last Thursday. The Hurriyat leadership called for strike across the occupied valley on Friday, while rallies will be held against the martyrdom of youth.
Indian Air Force Vice Chief Air Marshal Shirish Babandeo accidentally shot himself in the thigh on Wednesday. The Vice Chief reportedly injured himself while keeping his pistol aside after returning from office. According to Indian media, the Indian Air Force Vice Chief was rushed to a military hospital in New Delhi where he underwent surgery and his femur bone was set. He is said to be able to stable due to a charge as Vice Chief of Air Force in July and was commissioned as a fighter pilot in 1979. More news stories lined up right after a short break.
Stay with us. Pakistanis in the United Kingdom are voicing their concern on the escalation of hostility between India and Pakistan.
Talking to 92 News, Pakistanis in Dublin condemned the recent statements by the Indian Army Chief. They also said they trusted Pakistan Army to foil all designs against the country. Any misadventure by India, they said, was bound to draw a baffling response.
I'm really disappointed and shocked at the recent developments in the Pakistan-Indian relations.
I'm extremely disappointed in the efforts of India and Pakistan. I think that it shouldn't be too hard as neighbours.
And the Irish community stand for peace, and we've fought for our own peace, and we should fight for others as our own stewardship and fight for communities, the majority of good people, and it's the minority that ruin it for everyone.
We want peace with India. We want stability in our region. Pakistan is growing, and I'd request the UN to reach out with a helping hand to resolve the issues.
Several Irish citizens told 92 News governments of both India and Pakistan should show statesmanship for the sake of their citizens.
There's a mixed reaction on this statement by Indian Army Chief over here in Ireland within Pakistani community. But one thing is common, that Pakistani community, they're together, and they're together against anything which is against Pakistan. Faisal Mirza, 92 News, Dublin, Ireland.